Hello everyone, today I'm going to talk to you about a Overwatch hero I designed in my free time called Parvati. Parvati's lore is that she used to work for Vishkar until Vishkar decided to join Talon, and she decided that this didn't align with the values that the company originally had. Not that they were a very good company, but she thinks that Talon is very imperfect, and she has decided now she's going to take the technology she learned, she enhances it for herself, and she's using it to hunt down a lot of Vishkar's previous targets like Symmetra, Lifeweaver, Lucio, but her motives are slightly unclear. She's quite mysterious. We don't know if she's hunting them down to join them or to fight them, but her kit reflects this sort of bounty hunter element, kind of the way Freya's does. Let's immediately get into her kit. First, let's begin with her stats. Parvati is a support. Her sub-role is Tactician, which means she can store up to 25% additional ult charge. She has 250 health, 100 of it is base white health, and 150 of it is blue shield health. This gives her a little bit of survivability when she's taking cover from combat. This is because, as you'll see, her kit encourages her to play on off angles and try and get sneaky kills on the backline. Parvati's main gimmick is that she has a passive called Pursuit, and this is the entire glue of her kit, and everything is built around fulfilling this passive. She is assigned an enemy non-tank player, which is located in the middle of her screen on her HUD, which I'll show you in a second. She deals 20% increased damage to her target with her weapon and all of her abilities, eliminating her target, not necessarily having to be a killing blow, but if she does, some damage, gets the elimination. It resets her cooldowns, which are very long, and randomly chooses a new target. There is an element of the HUD that will show her who her next target will be once her pursuit target changes. If 30 seconds pass without her damaging her target, a new one is assigned. The reason I chose 30 seconds was because if she's respawning and she's coming back from spawn, or if it's someone really out of reach, like maybe a Widowmaker, it's long enough that she can decide if she wants to try and get that elimination, but not so long that she is sat twiddling her thumbs doing nothing. And she has other things in her kit that she can do outside of this passive. Parvati's weapon is the Refraction Gloves, which she uses both to damage enemies and heal allies. Her primary fire is her damaging attack, where she shoots bursts of hit scan shots from her right hand. She fires these hit scan rounds in bursts. The first burst is 2 rounds, then the second burst is 3 rounds, and the third burst is 4 rounds, and it always cycles in a pattern of 2, then 3, then 4. This sounds something like this. This attack does have damage fall off and a very slow rate of fire, as well as fairly low damage per bullet, and that's because her abilities are quite overpowering and she needs to have some weaknesses in her kit, so her overall constant pressure is quite low, and she tends to like getting bursts of value with her kit, which also synergizes with her off-angle playstyle, where she's waiting for the opportune moment to strike, which also feels very much like it fulfills her player fantasy. On screen are the stats of this weapon. I think I've covered most of them. There may be some missing, but that's just because I can only do so much. It's a hit scan attack. The damage per bullet is 25, double on a headshot. The fire rate is 1 burst every 1.35 seconds, with each burst having 2, then 3, then 4 shots. The fall-off range is 35 to 45 meters, which is just shy of Ilari's, I believe. Her fall-off damage is 100% down to 60% at maximum range, so still quite forgiving because she's a support and she can't always afford to go all the way in on a target. She has 36 ammo and a reload time of 1.5 seconds. 36 ammo means that she can do 3 full cycles of the 2, 3, 4 before she runs out of ammo. Her secondary fire is her healing. So she fires a hit scan beam from her left glove, which heals the first ally it hits, so it's single target. This can be used between her primary fire without delay, allowing her to fluidly interchange her shots without having any downtime on either her healing or her damage. This is because her rate of fire is so slow. The beam lasts for 0.6 seconds, the total beam healing is 85, it has a 0.75 second cooldown, a range of 60 meters, and 12 ammo. 60 meters is a really long range, but it means that she can still afford to play on these off angles, and if she can still keep line of sight with her team, she can still heal them, which I think is really important. It would feel quite clunky to play if you had to be too close to your allies to heal them, while also being incentivized to play away from them. The cooldown of 0.75 seconds is very deliberate, because if you add that to the duration of 0.6 seconds, you get 1.35, which is the same rate of fire as her primary fire, which adds to the same feeling of having no downtime between the two. Her first ability is her main killing tool, and it's called Imprisoning Light. She throws a hard light snare that entangles the first enemy it hits. This will slow and hinder the target, and if she recasts the ability, the target is pulled towards her. It's a heavy, arcing projectile with a large hitbox, but it can only hit one enemy. On screen are the stats for this ability. It does 40 damage on impact. The slow is very strong at 90%, but it decays down to 10% over 1.35 seconds, and the hinder only lasts for the first 0.85 seconds. The knockback, which is the term for the drag towards her, is approximately 8 meters in distance at around 16 meters per second, so it lasts about half a second. The cooldown for this is 10 seconds, which happens when the ability is thrown, not when it's recast, similar to Junker Queen's Knife, which is a close comparison. Her second ability is a really interesting ability that I think lowers her skill floor a bit, which I think for a character like this is quite necessary, and it's called Espionage. She deploys and pilots a flying drone that can heal allies and damage enemies. The drone, however, cannot leave a set range of Parvati while she's controlling it, and it can be destroyed by enemies. Much like other deployables like turrets, it has a shorter cooldown if she self-destroys it out of combat. This is some concept art done by the same artist who drew the character portrait to show how the drone works. As you can see on her character, the drone is actually a belt buckle in the middle of her torso, and when she enables it, it expands to look like what the artwork is showing. On screen, I've also got the stats. The flight speed is 9.5 meters per second, which is just slightly faster than an ulting Mercy. The maximum range she can fly it away from her is 30 meters, so quite forgiving, but she still needs to be careful about where she takes it because it's quite fragile. It only has 100 HP and no blue shield health. Unlike other deployables like Ilari's turret that can heal themselves over time, the drone takes permanent damage, which means even if an enemy can only land a couple of shots on what is quite a small target, they're still rewarded because that makes it easier to kill later. The fire rate of its attack is 1 every 0.7 seconds. It doesn't have any healing fall off, but it does have damage fall off. The damage per shot is 45 and the healing per shot is 55. The fall off percentage of the damage is 100% down to 40%, and the range is between 20 and 30 meters. The ammo on this drone is infinite, and the cooldown is 18 seconds, reduced to 8 seconds if she self-destructs it out of combat. Parvati's ultimate is very strong, but does require some coordination. It's called Photocrystallize. Parvati shoots a targeted homing projectile at her pursuit target. On impact, they are massively slowed, which increases over 3 seconds. If they're still alive at the end of this 3 seconds, they are then frozen for 2 seconds. If at any point during the ultimate the target dies, the ultimate can be recast during a short window, and there is no limit on the number of recasts. This feels like it very much connects with her pursuit passive, not only because she can only target her pursuit target, but also that feeling of upon the kill, her cooldowns refresh, so you get that small window where you can use the ultimate again on your new pursuit target, provided they're in range and LOS. On screen, I've got the stats for it. It's a moderately cheap ult at only 1,850 cost. The range of it is 20 meters, which is quite small. It deals 50 damage on impact. The slow duration lasts for 3 seconds, and the amount is an initial 50%, which increases by 15% every second. The freeze duration is for 2 seconds, and the recast window if the target dies is 5 seconds. Importantly, this ultimate can be countered by a lot of things. It does go through terrain if she's targeted the person already, but it will be blocked by barriers, it can be eaten by defense matrix. It can be deflected by Genji, but it can't find a new target and thus will just have no effect. And it cannot be blocked by things like Maze Wall or Hazard's Wall or any terrain-like deployable. Only barriers are the thing that can block it, and anything that will destroy projectiles. These are the perks I've written for her. Her minor perks are either Chase Down, which allows her drone to travel 15% faster and further, or Closing In, which highlights her pursuit target for her through walls if they're below 50% health. Her major perks are either Imbued Hunt, which is when your pursuit target changes, be it through the timer or through getting the kill, your passive health regen kicks in and you gain 30% movement speed for 4 seconds. Serrated Snare. Hitting your pursuit target with Imprisoning Light deals 50 additional damage, and they take 15 damage per second whilst moving. That makes her snare a much more deadly tool for getting kills, especially by herself, so she's forced to choose between either more sustainability and mobility in combat, or a bigger burst damage when she surprises someone. Overall, I'm really proud of Parvati's design. I think she fulfills a similar hero fantasy to maybe someone like Illari might, which is quite a aggressive and damage-oriented support. However, unlike Illari, who is incentivized to sit in the backline and control angles, Parvati is incentivized to push up and take flanks and be quite a nuisance, maybe the same way Kiriko might. She doesn't have the escape tools of Kiriko, but she does have crowd control, and her drone allows her to easily get vantage points where she can either heal her team from her position or chase down a low health pursuit target with the increased damage. Her lore definitely ties into the way her kit operates, and I think that's something I'm also really pleased about this character. And I think her visual design is absolutely gorgeous. I've left a link in the bio and a credit to the artist who did the artwork for me. They're really, really awesome, and it'd be really nice if you could check them out. And thank you so much for watching.